Hey everyone, Tony here, back again from the Classically Gaming and Electronic Podcast. I'm so glad you could join me today because I'm going to talk about the game Shadowgun for the iPhone and iPad. Now you may have heard this game in development for some time, and the first thing people say is it looks like Gears of War on the iOS device. Well, we all know that a blockbuster game like Gears of War in today's generation could never run on an iPhone or an iPad. But in reality, developer Madfinger Games has decided to tackle and bring a game that's very similar to what we might experience in a Gears of War to the portable iOS device. Now, I was real excited to sit down with this one because I was afraid that it might be nothing but a graphical impression of a great game. It might be something that they expect people to just be awed by the graphics and it kind of stops there. Well, I was surprised, even a couple hours into the game, of how much fun I was having with this one. So take a look at my review, decide for yourself, but see if Shadowgun for the iOS device is a game that you might want to pick up today. So obviously the elephant in the room is that yes, Shadowgun has the feeling of a Gears of War-esque game for the iOS device. But now that that's out of the way, let's just not mention Gears anymore. Let's talk about Shadowgun. See if it's a game worth playing, and if it's worth your hard-earned cash. Now as I talk about the game, I'll be showing you the footage recorded here from my iPad about midway through the campaign. Now the story is it's the year 2350. There's corrupt corporations ruling the galaxy and they hire bounty hunters to do their bidding. Shadowguns are the elite bounty hunters and you play as John Slade, the Shadowgun of Shadowguns. Now Dr. Simon is a mad scientist going against the corporation that hired him and funded him, and now he's developing alien mutants. So you're hired to track down Dr. Simon, face his mutant army, and bring him back alive. That's all I'm going to tell you. There are some twists and turns in multiple different ways that the game can end. Now, graphically, the game lives up to the hype that's surrounded it for months. It is absolutely beautiful. Right up there with the best looking games on the iPhone and iPad. Believe me, there's only a very small group of games that have achieved this sort of detail. Now, the backgrounds, animations, characters, all of it, this game does not miss a beat. It's very impressive, A+ on the graphics. Now, controls are really the most important part of an iOS game, right? If any game is going to be enjoyable, it has to hands down have really good controls. Shadowgun has the best controls I've played for an iOS shooter. Smooth as silk and on the money. Now, from making full 360 turns and movements to firing is absolutely fantastic. You move with a left floating thumbstick, your right thumb controls your views to turn anywhere on the right side of the screen, and also to look up, down, things like that. There's one fire button, one reload button, and one gun select button. There's no melee attacks. Basically, you go in and out of cover by just moving in and out with the left thumbstick, and it works absolutely great. You fire from cover or over cover or out of cover, and the fire button allows you to control the camera once you hold down on it, so you can be firing and actually move it around to select a different angle. This actually works really fantastic. You have to play it to believe it. Madfinger nailed the controls. Let's get to the gameplay. Obviously another important element. This is a cover-based shooter. You move throughout various levels, blasting enemies with various weapons and using the strategy of cover to achieve this goal. It is a fully single-player experience, no multiplayer, but has a decent length to it. It took me about 4 hours to complete the campaign. Shadowgun is taxing, for example, on your system. It takes a lot of memory. I played the game on an iPad 1. I had to shut down the other apps to make sure it ran smoothly without crashing, but they do give you a fair warning of this before buying it. And really, it's worth it to play. It's really not that big of a hassle to shut down the other apps. The game plays like a typical shooter. 4 to 5 different weapons, small puzzle-solving aspects. You progress to different areas, battle different waves of enemies. Your health recovers when you're in cover and not being shot at. And it just requires a little bit of strategy along the way. Now, you will tackle some various bosses and things throughout the game. Most of them are pattern-based. And overall, I would say the gameplay of Shadowgun is very well presented. There's decent length to the story and various outcomes to the game, adopting what most of us have come to love and enjoy about shooters. There are also some quips I have, though, with the gameplay. There's a few areas of gameplay I did not enjoy. The enemies are very repetitive. There's very few enemy types, and there's not a ton of variety to the environment. But really, because of all the other pluses, it doesn't really take away from the experience that much. And I see these things as more of building blocks that Madfigure can go back and focus on fixing in a sequel. In conclusion, I really enjoyed Shadowgun. It pushes the iOS development to the limit, and it's lived up to its hype for the most part. Madfigure Games have really climbed the mountain to reign on high with titles like Dead Space and Infinity Blade, and I'm excited that the bar has been raised again. Although it's not perfect, the precise controls, fantastic graphics, and great story-driven gameplay make this one worth picking up for your favorite iOS device today. Once again, this has been Tony with the Classic Leap Podcast. Thanks for watching. Check out our other videos and be sure to subscribe.